Hey everybody. Well, it is a work day for me today. Heading out to a property I've done a lot of work on over the last few years, 2 or 3 years. I can't remember when I first started working out there. Had church this morning. Great service. The key verse today was Micah 6:8. We can't remember the whole thing offhand, but the key words there were: seek justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. And just going to be reflecting on that one today when I'm out in creation and just enjoying my time doing some work, but also just connecting with the Lord out in the stillness of what His hand has made. But yeah, today's focus is going to be just cleaning up some bedding areas. So this is a property I've done a bunch of aspen cuts on. I actually got the privilege of sitting at once last year, which was awesome because I've got to work on a lot of different properties over the last handful of years, and I generally don't get to see how it actually plays out in hunting season. But I just kind of go off what the landowners tell me. But I actually sat it one night on a doe hunt with somebody, and we did get a doe, which was awesome. But it was fun to see just how the deer reacted to the work that I've been able to do out there. And the landowners put a ton of work into it too. But I've been my main focus out there has been the bedding areas. So this property has always been good. Now, don't get me wrong; it's a good property, and it's in a high deer density area in Minnesota, so it's had deer, but the issue has been just holding the mature deer, because if you would look through it, it didn't have the habitat to hold deer. So we started doing these little 1 acre, half acre to 1 acre bedding cuts in the Aspen. Now, if logging was a possibility, we would have logged. As of right now, it's not. So I'm putting in these 1 acre, half acre to 1 acre bedding cuts. And man, last year when I sat it was so fun to see just where the deer were coming from, because you could tell they were absolutely relating to these little bedding cuts. I mean, I think it was 45 deer that night, like 17 bucks. We had just a dandy out in front of us. He came out 2 hours before the end of shooting. So that tells me that if he's coming out that early, and from where he came from, I could tell, I knew exactly what bedding cut was back there. That tells me he's actually holding up on the property, which hasn't always been the case historically on this piece. But the more that we add bedding, the more the deer are actually holding on this property. So that was very encouraging to see. But yeah, I mean, it works. When you do this stuff, it works. Aspen's a phenomenal habitat species, and the more work you do to get that early aspen regen, the more you're gonna have deer on the property. So, all right, I'll be quiet for now, but I'm gonna shoot some quick shots throughout the day of what some different aspen cuts look like. Most of it's gonna be in the second full year of regen right now, so I'm excited to see what it looks like. But I'll get in there, do some cleanup, and yeah, we'll add that onto the video. All right, I'm only gonna video this spot for a minute because I really want to show off the aspen regen and the other bedding cuts. So this was one I did this winter. Just basically got the trees down, cut a couple quick trails through it, but didn't have time to clean it up. So when you cut in the winter, you got to come back, clean it up. It looks fantastic today. Put a lot of time into it. But this is what I like to do in these aspen cuts, kind of have a central bedding area if possible. So what I got here is got nice open spots for the deer to bed. The regen's going to blow up through all that down aspen. And you can see I got escapes going all over. I got great bedding set up over there. Good bedding potential over there. Escape cutting out that way. So again, this is kind of my core area. I got this a circle going right around, right in this core area with bigger open spots. Escape cutting out that way. Thicker central area. escape, escape. And an escape going that way. And then I also cut a trail around the outside of this entire bedding area because bucks, especially during the rut, love working around the outside of these bedding areas, so I want them to easily be able to work right along the edge. But I have lots of trails kicking out this way. Deer stand right over there. All right. All right, so this spot was cut exactly 2 years ago around this date. It's towards the end of May. I think it's like the 21st, 22nd today. But this spot was cut exactly 2 years ago from now, and you can see the regen has boomed. Let's do a quick pan around here. Standing up a few feet here on a hinged elm. Look at that. I think of the song Welcome to the Jungle because that's what I got going on here. But there are very clear trails and openings all the way through this cut. So there's one there. And there's trails weaving all over through here. So when you cut them like this, if you can't do the logging, make lots of trails, lots of openings, and the deer will use it. I'm gonna hop down quick and just show you. I mean, the deer were in here very, very heavy this winter. I guarantee this area has more deer scat in it than any other area on the property, well, besides the other cuts, because I'm sure they're just as loaded. But yeah, great deer bedding, and the deer certainly appreciate it. So you can see distinct trails cutting through all this. I mean, it's loaded with deer scat. I've got trails cutting up through here. That's about the how many wood ticks I've pulled off myself today. Got to treat my clothes here. Haven't done that yet. We've got a trail cutting over there. Trail here, and now look, you can see the difference where the trails are. So the browse line stayed at the deer's level because they sawed all this off. Where the deer couldn't reach, blew up past the deer's level. That's okay. It's going to provide good cover. The deer will keep these main trails mowed down. And the regen is definitely still within their face. A couple trees got past. Eventually I'll cut those out of here, but I like leaving them because the bucks love rubbing on them where they can reach them. Again, nice opening. Hasn't filled in with the regen because the deer are mowing it down. Clearly they were in here very, very heavy. And just check out this browse line right here. I mean, that stuff stayed at 2 feet. It's probably easier to see right here because there's the trail cutting through there. Left and right, out of their reach, where they could get to. They kept it mowed down, which is nice because that's what we want. We want them to keep the browse at their level because if they have browse, they're going to stay here, they're going to bed here. When I was going through this area, I made sure that there were no dead ends. You got to check your bedding cuts every year. It took about a half hour. I had plenty of fallen trees, just dead trees that fell and made dead ends. And I also just made sure there are still plenty of places for the deer to lay down, which there are. They can bed almost, I mean, there's all kinds of little pockets and openings in here. So, but you got to check your cuts. But the deer are loving it. All right, on to the next cut. All right, so you tell me where you'd rather hang out if you were a deer. Out in this whole bunch of overgrown aspen, or up in this. Yeah, I think if I was a deer, I'd rather hang out up here. A lot more food, a lot more cover. That just looks like a sea of nothingness And the other cut I was just at is right over there. You can kind of see the green off in the distance. Got a trail cutting right between the two. Deer are using it. I like to link all these cuts. There's 4 of them in a row here. So the deer, especially the bucks, when they're cruising, you could sit in between any of these and catch a cruising buck during the rut. So yeah, this is that next cut. I'm not going to go too far into it, but just want to show the idea here. I have not cleaned this one up yet, so I'm going to fire this up in a second here. Make sure there's no dead ends. But you get it. Nice and thick. And that regen is booming. Probably cut a couple of these out of here just to give this a more open feel in the middle to regen around. But I'm definitely loving it. It's good to see. Well, just about to leave this cut and found this. Just more evidence that it was a tough winter. Always tough to see. But we'll keep doing the best we can, so these are few and far between even on the hard winters. Well, another casualty of the rough winter. Deer number 3. Alright, I'm at the second to last cut. I'm going to show it today. Actually, I don't think I'll show the last one. It was one I cut last winter, so it's just going to be more of what you saw in the first video. Mostly just wanted to show off the regen today. So there it is. This one really, this is the tallest of all of them. I don't know why. They were all cut at the same time, but this one is looking like 14 feet probably at the top. But the deer are in here, so I sprayed this last year. And you can see my trail cutting that way, and the deer have used it very well. But I do that, I sprayed a trail between these bedding areas so that I could guide the deer movement by a stand that's further down that direction. You can see the deer, and they do respond to that. But I'm gonna go in the center of that cut, and I'll shoot one last part to this video here just so you can get an idea what it looks like in the middle of it. But yeah, deer, good deer sign over here as well. I said the deer like to rip up these young aspen shoots. Look at that, these are from last year, right in the middle of this little bedding area. Yeah, clearly there were some bucks coming in here, at least checking things out. Who knows, they could have been bedding in here too. It's a nice transition here right on the edge of a swamp. So definitely an area that a buck would like to hang out, potentially. So this is pretty much in the center. See, there's another rub right there. You can see just how thick this is. We got good deer trails cutting through, right up through there. Of course, I cut those trails in. It didn't happen by accident. But the regen is here, and it's thick. There's still plenty of young shoots within the deer's reach, though, too. So I'll double check this area, make sure there's no more dead ends, and then we'll call it a night. See, right here is a drier spot, so that's definitely an area I think a deer would probably hang out, potential bedding. I got a run working my way up right through here, and cuts right along the edge up through there. But yeah, looks awesome. Still nice and thick, still plenty of food where the deer can reach it. Eventually this will have to get reset, but for now we're looking good. All right, you all take care. Have a fantastic day or night or what have you, depending on when I upload this video. But thanks for tagging along. All right, God bless.